Hello, welcome. Welcome back to another Onkruid video. Welcome back to another Diablo video. Another unedited ramble session where I have already done everything I need to do. Which, as you know, I don't even need to repeat it by now, but I will do it for good measure, is press the record button. All that's expected of me, all that I expect of myself. Because I make it seem sometimes like it's kind of something external that somebody obliges me to do. But it's all my own ideas and my own feelings, of course. And it's also all my own intentions. It's just my own thing. My own project every single video. And I don't need to do it for external validation in any way, shape or form. I make them for myself and for my own enjoyment. And right now, I make them because I wanted to still play some Diablo before going to bed and having a nice little slumber together with my girlfriend. Looking forward to getting in the bed together. I was doubtful about whether I wanted to actually record it again because, as I've already talked about a million times before in the past couple of videos, in multiple different games as well, I still had a wound inside my mouth and it still makes it a bit difficult to talk. I didn't really experience many difficulties today at work with it, I guess because I can just talk like slowly and have to do a lot of listening there as well, but right now while recording it immediately comes up and it's just really like not even just an annoying feeling, it's one of the worst feelings, I think, having like pain inside your mouth. It's such an organ or a series, a collection of organs rather, of such vital importance, especially in lines of work like the ones your mothers are in, which is prostitution, something like that. There was a joke there somewhere about giving head, but it didn't quite land. That's a-okay though. This is also like some practice for me, these Diablo videos, and every single video is actually a form of practice for me. A form of practicing to create even better videos all the time. What are we aiming for this video? Some Great Rift completions, maybe Paragon 130. Let's try and aim for that. Should be possible. Pardon me. Let's just straight back into it. Up the difficulty maybe a little bit to gain a little bit more experience, because we can of course not spend the entire night playing Diablo 3. I need to go to sleep early enough to have a productive day at work tomorrow. I have 4 clients. 1 is diagnostic research, 3 are just like regular old therapy sessions. 2 people are adolescent males, young adults that are kind of like thinking about becoming a better version of themselves and how to do that, which is a very interesting question for a therapist, for me as a therapist, something I really look forward to every time, to kind of help them out in their search towards becoming a better human, because it's a very validating job for me, if you will, because one of my main tasks is to point out all the things in their life that they are actually also already doing, that they can be proud of. Because most of the time when you feel like I need to improve myself, it is because you feel like you are actually not doing a great job in life so far, and there is a lot to improve. But I can be like the mild voice that is like, hey, but you already did this, and we already worked on this together, and you already told me about this and this and this, and those are all, I think, signs of being quite a good human. So you can be a little satisfied with that already as well. And they're like, yeah, haven't looked at it that way, because their internal critics don't allow them to look at it that way. And it makes for an easy dub for me, really. It's also hard work though, because changing yourself for the better is not an easy thing to embark on, not an easy journey to embark on in the slightest. A process with a lot of nuance, with a lot of ups and downs, and a process you really need to invest a lot of time into before you actually start seeing some real results. Because changing yourself is more often than not all about changing certain patterns in your life. Certain patterns you haven't grown used to. Like, for example, relational instability, or not knowing who you are and just rolling with it, or not going out for exercise because you feel like that's stupid. It's all about patterns, and patterns are more often than not kind of rusted shut. It's quite hard to change them. Additionally, one of the clients I see tomorrow, or the other client I see tomorrow that is not in the case of diagnostical research, just a regular old other client I see tomorrow, a lot of sentences to say the same thing, is the client that I have been seeing for a while already about worrying and about her work environment and how she feels kind of bad there actually. She feels a little bit underappreciated. And she feels like just her job is not giving her as much validation as it used to. Which is a scary feeling, I can imagine. Not a feeling I have encountered myself yet, because I really do enjoy every single day of going to work still. Although I must admit, sometimes I have a bit more, or I am enthusiastic about it a bit more effortlessly, with a bit less effort is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes I do have to push myself out of bed a little bit in the morning. Most times though, I feel like it's not necessarily because of work, but it's just because of lying in bed being such a beautiful, beautiful experience. The comfort transports you right back into mommy's womb, you know? Which might be a bit far-fetched, but you get the feeling, like, right? You feel warm, safe, calm, relaxed. You feel rested, and you are still resting while laying in bed. It's just an amazing experience altogether. But it gets problematic as soon as it gets problematic as soon as it gets in the way of other life goals and life domains. Like, for example, staying in bed instead of going out with friends all the time, or staying in bed instead of going to work. Then we're talking about depressive disorders or burnout. Or staying in bed because you're just so afraid of the entire world. Then we're talking more about general anxiety disorders. All disorders that are characterized by not doing things anymore that would normally be of value in your life, you know? Especially depressive disorders, of course. It's not something I have encountered yet in terms of work. I still get fulfillment from it. I still enjoy every single session. I don't enjoy every single session as much, or I don't enjoy every single session equally as much as what I wanted to say, but the baseline feeling is still always positive, you know? I love listening to people, being a part of their life story. As a therapist, you're always like an objective listener that is kind of outside their life story, but in the meantime, you are always getting intertwined, right? Because you are hopefully, not to say like an important part of their life story, but you have some influence, hopefully, because, well, otherwise, if you don't have any influence, then it's not going to be such a beneficial therapy relationship, I think. And there is so much nuance and beauty in my field of work. I could talk on end about it without stopping. And that's something you have, of course, noticed, because I have been talking about the subject of therapy and how to be a therapist and all that good shit on this channel for the past couple of years, even before I was a therapist myself. And of course, I'm not really a therapist myself right now. I'm still a clinical psychologist, but you get the gist. What have I been doing today? Reading, recording some other videos as far as my mouth allows it. Also reading a lot in Stoner by John Williams. Fun book, really doesn't fail to suck me up, encapsulate me, kind of pull me in and not let me go before I have read at least like 30 or 40 pages in one sitting. Don't have the time to read through it entirely because it's a bit over 300 pages. I am reading the Dutch translation, found it in a second-hand bookstore for a couple of bucks, so definitely on the cheap side of things, but it is a classic that I definitely want to read. Although I do realize that it is like a classic of English literature, right? And therefore, me reading the Dutch version is maybe not like the best approach to appreciate the work to its fullest potential, to its fullest capacity. But I am letting go of all those thoughts, and I am just enjoying the book in whatever way, shape, or form I am reading it. And I am definitely enjoying it quite a lot. Although it's hard to say why, you know? People that have read the book might agree with me, but in essence, the book is like about a topic, and mainly about a protagonist and his life, about like a topic and about material that doesn't necessarily warrant a book being written about it, you know? It's a bit normal. It's a bit anal. It's a bit boring, kind of, but it's written in a way that for some reason it doesn't feel boring, you know? I realize that we are just following Mr. Stoner in his regular old, Mr. William Stoner, if you will, in his regular old day-to-day life, whereas there are a lot of conflicts, and he is just doing his job in most of like the book parts. He is literally just being an English teacher, and that's that, being a researcher into English literature, which is not a field I am necessarily that interested in, so that is not the attraction for me. It's really hard to feel the attraction. Maybe, and this is, I think, definitely possible, the reason that it is just attractive to me is the fact that, or is the item that I just talked about. The fact that it doesn't really warrant a book being written about it, and yet Mr. John Williams did it, you know? He had the balls to do it. He didn't care about whether the story was just like too normal or too easy, too relaxed, with not enough nuance or crazy stuff happening. No, he was just like, I want to write a book about this English teacher, and that's exactly what he did. Is that a primal? That is a primal, right? Primal boots, or are those my boots? Well, I'm not even wearing said boots. But that is great. I think that means that we can finally complete our altar, and that the next time we find a primal, it will be more than one primal. Hold your horses a bit. No, I can already see it. I was gonna say hold your horses a bit, but I can see the red outline over here in my inventory. Wow, that's beautiful. Not necessarily what I expected to find this episode, but definitely really welcome. Alright, let's identify everything, transport ourselves to Act 1, and then unlock the final part of the altar, I think. Don't necessarily know exactly how this works, but we will find out. I hope I am correct in my assumption that I only needed one more primal, because otherwise you're gonna see a sad little Onkruid boy right here. Although I am already quite a bit sad, because I actually wanted to record way more this evening and I have the time for it. But I just can't bring myself to it because of the pain in my mouth. Let's see. Altar of Rites, Final Potion Power, Sacrifice. And now the final seal is unlocked. There we go. When a primal item drops, a second random primal item drops as well, rather. Cue like South Park scene where Cartman is like, now we can finally play the game, right? That's kind of what it feels like. This is like the grind end goal you have been working towards for the entire Diablo season, and now that it's here, it's kind of beneficial only if you keep playing, which is, I think, like the main downfall, or maybe the main selling point of a game like this, where the only enjoyable process really, or the only enjoyable factor really should just be the process of getting there. And I must say that it was the best Diablo season I have definitely ever played. A new endgame grind is definitely what this game needed. All the previous updates were just all about transforming the endgame grind we have known for multiple seasons on end, for years on end, really a little bit, but this was really like a whole new addition, and it was so beautiful. It was amazing. I'm so glad I booted up the game again, and I'm glad I got to share that passion and love a little bit with you guys. Diablo 4's beta weekend is coming up this weekend. I'm not gonna play because I have too much other stuff that I need to do. But I am definitely looking forward to when the game is actually released. And when it's actually released, I will definitely buy and play it. And you will hopefully see some content about it on the Onkruid YouTube channel as well. Hopefully. Now, the format I have transformed into of like just pressing record in multiple games. I recorded a League of Legends video today, for example. And it's also present in Souls and Survivors, in Diablo, maybe in Noita in the future. Haven't recorded Noita in a while, but still. That format allows me to do so much more with YouTube, you know, because I can record so many other things. It diminishes the quality of the videos a little bit. It makes them a bit less funny. I have to keep talking because otherwise I feel guilty, but by producing sounds non-stop from the cortex and through the speech systems and the vocal cords and stuff, I have less room in my head to actually think of funny little quirks and funny remarks. So that's why when you hear me just talking and talking and talking, you realize that there is a lot less funny business going on, a lot less funny stuff in there. Whereas in a normal edited video, I might have some well-landing jokes. People will now be thinking like, where? In which videos? What are you talking about? But that's just me. Some regular random old gem upgrades that are actually completely insignificant because we are never going to use this gem at all. but I need to invest my upgrades into some place, right? Let's gamble up all our blood shards real quickly. I see a puzzle ring in there already, so that's quite nice. We're saving those up for maybe a video where I'm like clearing out an entire bank stash of puzzle rings. Might be a fun little project to embark on. Let's identify these legendaries, disenchant all of them because we don't need them at all. And then let's end off this video. Was it a good one? Am I proud of it? Yeah. Yeah, hell yeah, you bet your sweet bippy I'm proud of it. Are you now thinking like, but why? It wasn't special at all. Why does it have to be special for me to be proud of it? I pressed record, I recorded another video, and I am pursuing my dreams of becoming a YouTuber. That's something to be proud of. Be proud of yourself today for something you did, whether it's just getting out of bed. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.